What can you do if your adult child has cut you off and won't talk to you? In this video, you're going to learn 5 skills, 5 strategies to cope with this heartbreak. Hi, I'm Marie Morin. I'm a therapist and a wellness coach. Let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is to be informed. You need to know about this. Estrangement is a challenging condition, and dealing with the silence from your adult child can be really difficult. And I want to help you unravel this because the deep emotional pain is real. It's common to feel things like depression, anxiety, guilt, anger, betrayal, shock, denial, all of these things are grief. And many families in the United States, about 27%, and that's probably low because we're not talking about it as much, are in a similar situation. So, what do we need to know? Understanding that parents often struggle to understand why their adult child chooses to cut off communication. And this is typically not just done lightly. Okay, so there's different ways of looking at estrangement. So, dependent on whether you're the adult child or you're the parent, you're going to see what happened and how the situation occurred in the first place differently. So, according to one of the best books about estrangement, which is Family Estrangement, A Matter of Perspective, quite clinical way, what the research says. And the top 3 reasons for adult children is abuse, betrayal, and poor parenting. On the other hand, other contributors, and that is also listed in this book, and it's a study, so people were studied. Parents are usually looking on the outside. It was the in law, it was maybe my adult child's mental illness, it was the divorce, it was parental alienation. And there's a lot more, and you're going to want to watch my video on 11 reasons why so you can get a deeper dive into those reasons. However, what we need to understand is 2 sides of the story, and this is why we're having this problem, because we're seeing it from totally different angles naturally. But the decision made by the adult child is never done lightly. Why won't they talk to you? Well, according to them, they've been harmed. And we need to understand this so that we can do things to bridge the gap, potentially to get back to a relationship. Okay. And if not a relationship with your adult child, you can't go down with the ship, right? You're not going to go down. You have to still live. You have to still move forward. So some of the other things involved could be just this tension around the family dynamic, right? People don't know how to resolve conflicts. This is a real thing, but it's adult children who definitely 100% hold the keys to whether the relationship is going to reconcile or stay cut off. So be informed. Lots of my videos and a lot of content creators have tons of stuff. Just you want to know your stuff. And the second thing you want to do are coping strategies. So naturally, as we talked about, when parents are cut off, they feel grief. And even as time goes on, they continually feel this grief. And one of the things is they don't want to accept that this is a marathon, not a sprint. Sometimes estrangement lasts for 4.5 years. So parents would do themselves a favor if they could kind of get into the acceptance mode, one day at a time. I choose to accept the condition of the relationship for just this one day, and every day do that. So we want to be fit for the emotional challenge by saying, okay, I'm going to be okay every day. The third thing you want to do is to improve your communication. And I know you're saying to me, hey, my kid won't talk to me. What does this have to do with anything? Hear me out. So what we learn when we effectively communicate is things like active listening, validating feelings, and offering genuine apologies. These skills demonstrate, and this is what adult children want, right? They want to know, should they come in to test the waters? Did my parent change? And because a lot of times what happens is when parents get cut off, they get notified, I don't want to talk to you. Please give me some space. And then they completely bust out and break boundaries, or they say things that in a rush because they're so upset. And this makes matters worse. Okay. It does complicate things. So by improving your communication skills, should they come back in and want to speak to you, it will be at your best interest to know how to do these things. Okay. Why? Because you're going to get triggered. All right. Everybody gets triggered. We're human. And if you don't get triggered, I want to know what your secret is. But the truth is that when we're talking to someone that we haven't spoken to for a while, or someone that we know is upset with us, or that there's angst between us, you're going to feel this thing come up with you. And it's going to be a real exercise in, I say, walking on eggshells with toe shoes. You're going to have to learn how to do that. How do you do that? It's all learning how to communicate. And we can't communicate if we're all triggered up, right? So we have to get into our peaceful state. And the way that we do this is by learning, okay, I'm really upset right now. I got to take a minute. I have to take a breath. So all of these things are included in learning communication skills, because part of it is learning how to communicate with ourselves. What's going on with me right now, and how am I to respond and not react? I know. Look, I have trouble with these things too. It's not like I've, mastered this. I work on this all the time because just like you, when I'm upset about something, I do want to react. But the trick is, for our relationships, we want to communicate because we want to connect. Okay. That's the goal. That's why you're watching these videos, because you want to connect with your adult child. This is an excellent way to do it. And the fourth thing is to get on the train with self-care practices. I know, I say it all the time, but a good routine, basics, right? Eating well, sleeping well, going for a walk, all of that is going to improve your mental health state. You want to do things like breathing exercises, like I mentioned before. You want to have that in your pocket, so if you should feel triggered, you know exactly what to do. Meditation can help teach you how to keep yourself from reacting and to get into that heightened state. I tell the people that come to talk to me to practice things like meditation, because it helps slow us down a minute, right? Prayer is an excellent source to help us get out of that heightened state. Journaling is really amazing. I have videos about that. You can watch them. Whatever it is, journaling doesn't have to be any big thing. It could just be writing down. I know people that can't write really. They don't like to write. And what they do is they text edit, right? They speak into their device and their device gets it out, and they've just let out some of that emotion. This is really good for you. Learn how to process your emotions. This is all part of self-care. If you find yourself not knowing how to do these things and you're a little unsure, well, what do I do for self-care? I've been taking care of everyone else. Check out my program, Embracing Renewal. I teach those skills in there. You'll learn how to process your emotions, and it will help you get through this time. And the fifth thing is to stay socially connected. So it's really important, be around people who love and value you, who are keen on understanding that you're going through a tough time, and they aren't going to sit there and say things like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't forgive your child. They've done such a terrible thing. You should tell them off. This is not going to help you, because it will harm your relationship with your adult child. So be around people who love and value you and who can support you. As far as those friends, those well-meaning friends that don't know what to say to you, you can always create a boundary and say, hey, I really appreciate your help right now in this. And I understand that you have a lot of strong feelings, and I do too. But I'm trying to do the best I can. So I appreciate if we talk about my adult child, that we do it in a way that is comfortable for me. And I would rather not speak about these things right now. Something like that. Okay. So a good boundary is one that protects you from getting barraged with stuff that isn't going to help you to move forward. So, in these good, cultivated relationships with those who love and value you and support you, you will feel strengthened. So, the idea of all of this is that you must move forward, right? You're not going to go down with the ship. It's complex. There's so much going on with this globally in the world right now. We're hearing a lot of people go through this, both parents and adult children. There's a lot of emotions, depression, anxiety, guilt, and anger. But by prioritizing your self care, learning about this, learning best practices, right? Staying socially connected, parents and adult children can do so much better for themselves, for their own sense of self and health. If you like this video, hit the like, share, and don't forget to comment. We'll see you in the next video.